Good evening, everybody, and welcome to FMA Discussion. This is episode 523, and today we have Arnold Filomeno on, and we'll be discussing his FMA journey as well as his new project, Defang Cancer, and we'll find out what it's all about. But before we get started with that, we are being sponsored. How exciting! Yes, Marshall Theory. If you have not seen, Dr. Stephen Perlman just came out with a book. He had one previously that he did some years back. But this book here, let me just show you. It is actually right here, Marshall Theory. So you have the actual book and you have the workbook. Okay, both available on Amazon. Yours truly was part of the collaboration. And there, I think I spoke on Big Shocker, Attribute Development, Non-Telegraphic. I bet you're shocked. Anyway, but let's go. So here we go. So I don't promote often on this, but here, this is I truly groundbreaking. He's really gone into some deep stuff with this, and in conjunction with the books, he has a Marshall Theory University online. Okay, so getting positive feedback, a lot of sales that are currently going on. It's a martial arts classic. Our tech exploring a similar style focus on the recipe book of techniques. Instead, Dr. Perlman has authored a first of its kind on the tactics and precepts that cross the boundaries of style. This book truly liberates the reader from the classical mess. I don't care if you're into FMA, traditional karate, Krav Maga, MMA, doesn't matter. Believe me when I tell you that Martial Theory and the Martial Theory workbook, if you're up for the challenge, will take your understanding of your art to an entirely new level. You can find Martial Theory and the workbook on Amazon in paper book, ebook, and the audio book formats. But just to give it another few seconds to tell you about Martial Theory University online, MTU Online is where you can learn from senior instructors who take concepts from the book and put them into action in their own styles. So basically, we go on there, you'll see many videos. For those who collaborate in the book, they also did videos on there, including me and other folks. These are instructional videos every week, new instructors every month, discussion forums, live events, Q&As with Dr. Perlman, and more. I believe in it so much that I'm an instructor there too. So when you sign up for martialarttheoryU.com, if you sign up from here, you will get, and put the code FMA Podcast, all one word, for a full 20% off, all right, discount price for its launch. Again, that's Martial Theory capital U.com. All right, folks. And without further ado, but check that out. It's a pretty interesting online site there. And again, for those of you who are just jumping in, the book is called Martial Theory. So, again, the book and a corresponding workbook. And again, the online. Check it out. Some good stuff on there. Not just FMA centric, far from it, actually. There is a bunch of folks on there that have contributed from different arts, different lenses, and all that. It's worth checking out. And plus, again, if you put FMA Podcast, you get 20% off. All right, without further ado tonight, Arnold Filomeno. If you're watching, tell us where you're watching from. Smash that like button. And we already got some folks watching. All right. And here he is, without further ado. You're sideways.
Yeah, let me see if we can adjust that. Hold on. Is that on your end or my end?
You're sideways on my end.
Okay.
And we
Yeah, we
got
can adjust
Cameron
that.
Toro.
Let's see here.
All right.
Sorry here.
Genuinely.
We can adjust that. Hold on one sec.
And Patrick, funny guy.
And stand by.
No worries. Not the first time that we've run into technical difficulties.
Of course.
Hardly.
We never lie, right? One second here. What I have to do is. Oh, one sec.
Stand by.
It's the old-fashioned way. Give me a sec.
What's the old-fashioned way?
Just using my little mini stand here.
When you initially were on, it was
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
perfect.
it's well, yeah, I guess not everything can be right. So hold on.
All right, folks, if you're watching, again, tell us where you're watching from. Smash that like button. Just giving Arnold a few minutes to set up his camera. And we got some guy from France. There we go.
Let me get this thing
Perfect.
over here.
We just got the Wing Chun
Yeah, just forget to do
leg
it here.
stand out there, but that's now
There
gone.
you go.
Okay.
Okay, now we're ready.
Makes a perfect blunt weapon option.
That's it.
All right. So long overdue. Um,
Yes, I know you've been wanting to get me on the show, but I had
but
nothing to
why?
talk about. So now we have something worthy to talk about.
There you go. There you go. Okay. Your martial arts background, pre FMA, if applicable. If you didn't do anything before FMA, well, then we'll just skip it.
Pre-FMA.
Were you like the
So
rest of
my
us that
journey,
did
yeah,
some type of traditional?
sure, yeah. Journey started at 9. I was a Navy brat. My dad was in the Navy, and so my journey started with Kempo karate, and we moved around a lot, so I didn't get to stay with that for very long. But I was always exposed to the FMA, for obvious reason being of the culture, from family
You're
and
Filipino?
friends. Yes, yeah. Can't you tell I'm vertically challenged?
I was
And my good
confused.
looks. And started with Kempo karate. Most people, I know they have like a Taekwondo or other traditional karate background, but Kempo was my first foray as far as formal training. And then, of course, I think like most, got exposed to Bruce Lee as a young kid. And when we moved to Iceland, the only things we had available as far as any kind of resources was like Black Belt magazine, Inside Kung Fu, and of course his movies. And little did we know there was a gentleman named Dan Inosanto. I think everybody knows who that is.
I've heard the
And
name vaguely, but
yeah, and he wrote a book called Filipino Martial Arts. I had no idea. And so as I got older, I got serious about it. And when we moved to Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, where my dad settled, got to finally meet someone named Paul Vunak, who was really my start into the JKD FMA route. And so I studied with Paul starting in '96, and then started instructing through him. And then when I moved to Atlanta, got exposed to the Francis Fawn Academy, where I was training for a few years, and met Guru Dan finally for the first time. A few conferences there, got exposed to some great instructors there, just to name a few, like Guru Billy Rux and John Spizano, of course, Sifu Fong himself, and even got to who did I meet? There are a couple other ones here locally, but then met Guru Ram Balicki at the Atlanta Blade Show, where
mm,
we frequent an annual event here, and well, we met and also got started training with him. That was I think '08, and then was with him for a while. With him and Diana and Asanto. So yeah, so those are most of the beginnings, and then to this day we are training with yours truly, Trudy and Franco, and
who's
Blade
that
Tag,
guy?
Seal Up for the Street, and Medusa and Piper, just to and also trained Pakiti Tersha with Jared Wahangi, or I'm sorry, Grant on Jared Wahangi, and as well as Tony Kitasinas. And also have exposure to Balentwalk through my instructor, Grandmaster Jamar Karsalar, who is with Grandmaster Bobby Tabuada, as well as GM Moni Avelas, who passed away a year or two ago.
Yeah, that's right, huh?
Yeah, he was actually the very first Grandmaster I ever met and trained with. And I was fortunate when he came to Atlanta. I was one of the first privates he had, and I was blessed to have had that experience. So through Guru Jamar or GM Jamar, so we got to meet like Master Zach Taco and Eugene Nipangi, just a lot of other instructors in Balenciaga, and currently now we're also getting back into KI with Guru Jeff Cruz, and long also got trained with Guru Brandon Ricketts a couple years ago. So varied experiences, and still continue to to be the perpetual student and teach my students here in Atlanta.
So when you were with Vunak,
Mhm.
that was my JKD and lineage as
Sure.
well. Did you were also getting the side component of the ensemble blend?
Correct.
Okay, okay, yeah. And so did you go like what the phases and
Correct. Yeah. So I mean, you start with your apprentice instructor, then your phase one and full. Depending on how long you continue. So yeah.
yeah, so is it yeah. I mean, so I never trained him directly. I was going to, he was doing the weekend things then, the $1,000 weekends. My instructor was directly under him as well as Larry Hardsell, and at that time started training with Richard Pistillo.
Yep.
So I just kind of just stuck with my instructor for a few reasons, but at any rate, but yeah, it was a good introduction. I mean, you got the ensemble blend. Paul's material was very dynamic, particularly
Sure.
in the JKD, and the focus on the kickboxing and stuff like that. Yeah, so it was a good upbringing. I'm sure you experienced the same thing. Got the roots, you know what I mean. My instructor, fortunately, was very. He addressed the trapping, but didn't go down a rabbit hole with it, but really pushed the whole sparring thing and all that. Which, looking back, I profoundly more appreciate that he
Yep.
did that. And there, it kind of set the tone with me in that realm. But yeah, wonderful experience for sure. So when you did the ensemble blend and then you left that, not well, you didn't leave it, but you just went to other stops.
Mhm.
With Ron Balicki, was he kind of the ensemble blend as well? Maybe perhaps a just different flavor.
I always say my training with Guru Ron, it was like going to grad school, whereas
Hmm.
Vu was like my bachelor's degree. But what I got from Vu, like I think you can relate to this, or anybody that's trained with him, is being functional. I think Vu was definitely more the martial, and
I think
most
so. I think that's
my
fair.
other instructors tend to be the art, which there's nothing wrong with. But Paul made me question everything. Like I remember the first time I got with him, and this is a true story. So I was at his house, and he said, "Okay, we're gonna just hand spar." And he said, "Go grab a stick." And I'm like, and this is like 19. This was like in 1998 when I met him the second time and trained at his house. And I said, "Where's the paddle stick at?" He said, "What is that?" I said, "Okay, well, where's the headgear?" And he said, "We're only going to hand spar, but if I hit your head, it's your fault." So, no, just, but that was my second experience with Paul. But with Ron, I mean, he just really exposed me to everything else from the Silat and the shoot wrestling. I mean, everything that Guru Dan was um, what was teaching, but really like everything from Lamenko, which I appreciated, and then of course the Silat and the JKD. So it was just it was Vunek and then some, but like I said, it was definitely going to grad school. So um, I can definitely say it was like getting my master's degree.
Yeah,
Almost.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're just a continuation on the same subject, maybe just different flavors and a different lens or approach
Yeah.
to it and all that,
Yeah.
right?
Well, one person I didn't mention that had really opened my eyes. It was also from the Innocenta Academy, and rest in peace was Guru Victor Gindrana, um, I who also knew one of our instructors, Gerber Richardson. So
Absolutely, yeah, yeah,
he not only was from the academy, but he also introduced me to different people, but also just different flavors and just different methodology, outside of what we were learning from an Asanta blend. So I'd say both Vunak and Victor made me question, everything and say, hey, I mean, not just what's functional, but hey, what else is out there? Because one of the things
yeah.
that I realized I have a teaching background, I majored in education, is that most people know what to teach, but how to teach is a totally different thing. So I discovered, okay, what works best for me? Me being 5'3.5", I mean, I'm shorter than everybody, so I had to find different methods, that work for me, and also what best works for my students. So what I do is when I teach is I meet my students where they're at, not where they want to be or need to be
Mhm.
10 years from now, but what they can do right now.
Yeah.
So that's the influences of my teachers, regardless of whether it's Paul or whoever. It's like I look at how they teach, not so much what they're teaching, but how they present the material, methodology,
Mm.
because there has to be a how, and then the answer is why to the to all the let's call it the what would you call it, the just the method of madness.
Yeah. No. 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 I'm. Yeah. No. I think the way you said about Vunek, as far as the overall questioning, I mean, I remember, I mean, this is gosh, mid '90s when I left Taekwondo, and it just was it was shattering. And
Yeah.
that coming from a very kicking background to like this handwork and then this clinch work and this
Hmm.
ground. And the clinch was probably, the hand, it's not like, we all watched boxing. So, I mean, that wasn't so, but it was really the clinch and then the takedowns to the ground, which was really illuminating. Just, because when you're doing an art and it's your first art and you're listening to the teacher, you're beginning to think like, well, this is the art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't know, you don't know. And then you go and you're like, whoa, this, like, I could have really gotten some serious trouble, man. If God forbid, if I ever got
Yeah.
in an altercation and the clinch and the ground really exposed that. A couple years earlier, we obviously the first UFC. So it all kind
Sure.
of was, kind of all the plans lining up, when I made that transition, so to speak. But much to your point, though, yeah, definitely illuminating as far as that, the aspect of functionality, and there, the blending of the ranges. Yeah, that was all. And I'm just thankful that, I made that change of journey, to there. Um, and that from the traditional. But I don't knock the traditional. It was a starting platform. If it wasn't for that, who knows? You know what I mean? I may have never even made it to the
Yeah.
next.
I think we all start in the same place, but
Mm,
if you think about it, if life is a book, we all start in the same. It's the middle chapters is what's different. So same thing with training. We started one, maybe
yeah,
one teacher, but ended up with several. I think life is the best teacher.
experience, right?
Yeah.
Um, so then you're currently, so status quo. You're obviously still doing FMA,
Hmm.
um, and uh, before we get into your system and what you teach and what you advocate and your methodology, et cetera, you mentioned Medusa and Viper. Like, what the heck? What the heck are those systems? Like, what are these prisons? I mean, what the heck? I mean,
I mean, I think you can answer that better than I can.
I'm just kidding. All right, no, my real question is this: what what was the not impulse, but what was the curiosity, or what made you decide like, hey, I need to look at this stuff?
I think it always goes back to my training with Vu. Questioning, what works, but also what will we most likely, no matter how trained we are, what will we deal with out there? Because there's in training, I call that play. Out there, it's apply. I mean, there's things you do in training, but doesn't mean it applies out there. So the more we train, the more we play, the more we say, we determine or learn. Hey, well, this works, this doesn't. But also, just as more dangerous the world has become, we have to be more aware. And living in the good state of Georgia, everybody loves their guns and knives there. So
Yeah, you guys are right. Your laws are certainly more catering to that to those in where we live, not as regimented as far as legality and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. To me, it was. I think I'm more likely to see a knife out there, like
Yeah.
somebody chasing me around with a stick. I'm not saying it's not possible, but everybody's carrying. It seems like, or just the feedback I get from law enforcement every time they when they check on people, that a few of them mentioned to me that they always had something on them, and generally speaking, it was a knife. So
Yeah.
I wanted just to be, God forbid, prepared. And so one of the things with FMA is it's the sparring dueling. I think it's second to none,
Sure.
and I think it has its place and all there. I do, which is why I'm still doing it. However, from the gross motor attacks, I didn't see them really dealing with that as a whole. And so that's what piqued my curiosity even before the prison systems. Like, I think I know I told you the story. Like,
Sure.
I was with my grapplers. I could like with I couldn't stop their sewing machine.
Yeah.
So here, as I was a quote FMA guy, and could not stop these guys and it was like so demoralizing. And I'm like, this is it, man. This ends today, and which led to Blake Tech defensively. But yeah, just better prepared and giving the students the best version of yourself and material humanly possible, right?
Right. And
Um,
the truth is too is that not one single method is going to work for everybody, and that was the thing. It's like what work. I mean, what I was doing maybe 10 years ago was not applicable to me now. But also everybody's goal is different. So when I'm teaching my students, I mean, I always interview everybody that I teach. I say, what's your goal? Some people want the art. Some people maybe they just need to work on coordination or some kind of physical skill.
Nothing wrong in any of them,
Right.
right?
But to your point, as far as methods like Medusa or Piper, I mean, it's what's out there, but also if I was in a situation, what would I do?
Yeah, I
And that's
know.
where again I question myself. It's like, well, is what I'm giving my students does it
That
have
was a
merit?
big thing for me, like from an ethic and moral compass.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't working for me, so I couldn't pass it on in good conscience.
Yeah.
And at that time, the time that I'm talking to you about, I had a school.
Yeah.
I could have, but I didn't, and I just couldn't. I mean, I'd be lying to myself in the mirror, like, so I'd be lying to my students. I mean, ethically, when it comes to knife too, I think there's ethics, like what you're teaching, man. I mean, yes, no thing is guaranteed 100%. Okay, but if at least you're being honest, hey, look, this was coming out the highest percentage. I'm not guaranteeing you 100%. But if you're having that dialogue, at least you're being transparent, integrity of self, honesty to students, right? And I think sometimes that's all we can do, right? You
Sure.
know,
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing too is like you have. I mean, again, all martial arts is
absolutely, yeah,
good in general, but if people are going to teach from that lens of self defense, I mean, what makes a self defense? That's the other thing.
yeah. But what's your
And
point too, though? If you get people coming in,
yeah,
and that's another thing too I discussed and I brought up on the show too, like, you know, like you have one of pure functionalists. Well, that's hard. Da, da, da. But you know what though? If this guy was going through depression,
yeah,
and by doing the art got him off the couch, you're gonna try to tell me that your functional journey is more important that maybe to save this guy's life from
yeah,
suicide? I mean,
sure,
it's all you know what I mean. Like, so I just think it's when it comes to certain self defense stuff, like you mentioned,
yeah,
just being honest. But to your point, if somebody's coming in to get in better shape or do the art, that's their journey. If it makes them happy, you know.
right, yeah. No, I mean, and again, there's good for. I mean, there's room for both. I mean, and again, going back to Vu's always been such a big influence on me. Like he always made the difference between self perfection, self preservation. Preservation being again that functional, martial side, and not everybody that trains with me necessarily wants that. Like I'll tell you, like I've had some students, they they've come to me and they have told me just because of what they're going through. For example, I've had two students that really they're going through a really bad divorce
Right.
and just training just to keep them focused. They were able to get through that. I've had one that I literally that did save from from doing this. You know,
That's what I
I
mean. It's
had
like, you know, until
so
you're in
again,
their
I mean, yeah.
shoes.
So everybody, like I said, everybody's goal is different, and you can't you can't teach everybody the same way.
Yeah,
And
hang out and like you said, taking that intake, if you will, that questionnaire of like where they
yeah,
want to get out of this, right?
right.
I'm
And
pretty just transparent, as you know, like in the get go. Hey, look, guys, I don't teach art. I
yeah,
can recommend you to somebody who does,
mhm,
and no worries. I'm happy to do it. But right from the get go, I said, look, guys, I'm kind of sparring based.
yeah,
I'm knife centric and this and
yeah.
that. But
Yeah, well, that's why I also do the screening or interviewing process because I mean, even if they have good goals in mind, but one of my blood talk instructor has a really good saying. He says, "Character prefers skill." Okay, they can be the most skillful person, but if their character is questionable,
yeah,
because I don't want to be giving this to like a potential terrorist or someone's going to use this in a domestic dispute.
yeah, yeah.
So
Especially
that's
the
why,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I have that. They need to have a good moral compass, and yeah. So that's why I'm always looking for, like quality of character, not just skill.
Especially with the prison systems, man. Well,
Of course,
you know better than anybody what I go through.
of course, yeah.
It's math. I mean, thank God, with the exception of few,
Hmm.
the majority of people in those two are been. I've known them. They train other systems. They had a
Yeah,
structure to vouch for them, et cetera. But and the few that I didn't know. I mean, you better believe it. I was talking to them, like, why you want, you know what I mean? Just exactly. You get that wrong. You get one wrong person,
yeah.
you're gonna get dragged in court, and that's just no way. All right, your system. So, what's your system entail for folks that might not know?
I don't even like calling it a system. I mean, if for lack of a better term, I mean, it's kind of like how you have blade tech. It's like you can call it, like conceptually JKD, just taking everything that I've learned and what works, what doesn't, and but not just what works for me, but what works really more for my students. Because I can do things, but it doesn't mean they can do things the same way. So I also tend to look at every like whether you call it Lameko or Bikiti or whatever. I tend to look at more as like systems or methods, and when I do that, my students are able to connect the dots more with not only what they previously learned, but what they're currently learning, and they can really grow exponentially that way versus just memorization.
Mm,
Like one of the greatest lessons I got from you was with all the triangles. Is look at things as look at platforms, or drills as platforms or methodology, delivery systems to bring out what
yeah.
attributes. Because that's another thing that again that Vu gave me is it's really about attributes, not technique, because it's the attributes that bring out the techniques, but also helps you win the fights, whether
Yeah,
it's
those who
endurance or line recognition. I mean,
yeah, those who can, think quicker and then elicit
yeah,
response quicker. I mean, generally speaking, right? I mean,
right. I mean, yeah, because a fight's not scripted. I mean, yeah, I mean they're scenarios, but can those scenarios change? Sure.
yeah, I mean, no, I agreed. Yeah, it's funny. That's why I didn't call it system. Blade tech methodologies, because I wanted to get away from that, but yet, for the sake, where people can get exposed to or at least know about, you have to have a name, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm fully transparent that it's attribute development driven, um, context and methodology, triangles to give us the six triangles, in there. And yeah, but yeah, much to your point, where you made a good point, whoever's training with me, it's not one size fits all. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Depending on, like, yeah, they're going to get the same information,
Mhm.
but it's not to say that's going to be their go-to information. You know what I mean? But I at least expose them to it and let, based on their body type,
Sure.
what they like. Kind of like the way, how we do in WPM. You know what I mean? You get everything, but level two, we're we're molding you based on your body type and what's coming out of you
Right.
organically, right?
Right. Yeah, I'll give you a good example of that. Like, for example, when I had a student that was wheelchair bound, and when they came into a seminar, the the instructor kind of questioned, well, how do they train if and I showed exactly what I did. I just sat down or got down on one knee and did the exact same stuff. And oh, okay,
Nice.
so again, I mean, just because you can teach, I mean, teaching is one thing, but how do you teach and adapt to everybody's needs?
No, it's funny you mentioned. I got this guy, and he was kind of really sad. I really, he reached out to me.
Yeah,
He's wheelchair bound sometimes, but he's got leg braces. And he's like, nobody would teach him and all that, and it really kind of broke my heart. Like, and I'm like, hey, look, and he called about WPM. Hey, can you make WPM applicable to me being a chair?
yeah,
And I said, absolutely. And when the guy, but it was kind of sad that nobody previous to that would even like give me, you know what I mean? Like I just felt so bad for the guy. I'm like, hey, look, it's on, we'll do. I guarantee you, we'll do something. So I've been meeting once a week, and it's kind of been, like giving back to the community.
yeah,
It's reincarnated me, not in a way of like, I gotta be honest, just feeling good about yourself because
sure,
you're helping somebody out. And I think I kind of lost that just being in the assembly line of just, with in there. So I think it's like a really great thing that's happened to me. And I hope so for him as well.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like my father when he contracted meningitis and had trouble walking, and he's been wanting to learn how to martial arts for since he was a kid, but wasn't able to. So he had a cane. I said, "Well, Dad, again, how do you adapt to to that challenge?" I don't like to say disability because I don't like the disabilities. You know what I mean? So again, like as a teacher, okay, being that this is a business for me, so I asked, okay, so if my job is to help solve somebody's problem. So how do I solve that problem? Oh, okay, well, what do you have? And
Mm.
yeah, that came, and that's the thing, because it's not about me. It's about how can I help my student or students, okay, be the best version of themselves with what they got.
Or what they got to work with, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Do the best you can with the best you got with the
I
time
mean,
you
at
get.
least you're trying to help them and give them
Yeah.
something. I mean, they're gonna be better off than what before they came to you, hopefully,
Right.
right? So,
Sure. Yeah.
well, so what's in far as systems? What's in your? I mean, like I know it's a blend. So
hmm
what's in there?
As far as stuff we've trained.
No, no, as far as like actual systems, like what makes up your system? Like what systems did you pull from, or that have influenced
Initially,
you?
yeah, initially, I mean, there's definitely still some Inisano influence in there, Inisano blend, but a lot of it, definitely stuff from you, and then some Ki, and then PTK, and definitely a lot of influence from CLI from the street. So I mean, I look at more, like I said, I look more at methodology versus style. So I'd have to say those are the biggest influences right now. I mean, it's constantly evolving because there are things that, in fact, recently I spoke to one of my students who you've met. And I said, hey, you know what do we really need to keep in the curriculum, and what can we not throw out, but just kind of put on the side? What is something that can help us right now?
Mm.
So
No,
a
that's
lot of a
good.
lot, lot of the Blake Tech influence, a lot of stuff you've done, and
What the hell's belay tech?
I don't know. Again, you can answer that better than I can.
I'm just, I'm just kidding. What the heck is that latex stuff?
Yeah, yeah,
Who the hell is he to have? Huh? What does
yeah.
he know?
So
I'm just
yeah,
reading Coach Sandy's comment here.
sure.
Okay. Talk to the teachers. More important is what you do and how you do it. The teachers can show you multiple ways. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
Um,
Coach Danny's a
so,
great guy.
Coach
That's
Sandy?
another. He's another one that I met. when I hosted the was it Kali Evolution a couple
Yeah.
years ago. I'd love to. As another one, I'd love to train with.
Yeah, I just, he's I appreciate anybody that's a student at heart and doesn't get caught up in the titles or where people perceive them to be. They're just
Yeah.
a student, and they get in the trenches with their guys. They lead by example. Anybody that does that, I have profound respect for. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no, I agree.
Yeah,
I
if you're
agree.
just sitting there in
Definitely.
the chair, just dictating like that. It's not that I'm against you or I would be
Sure.
negative or make negative comments,
Yeah.
but you're not the guy I'm going to. I'm gonna be
Of
honest
course.
with you.
Of
You know what
course.
I
No, and again, I mean, but I think what I respect about
mean?
time I've met him, and he's very honest.
Hey,
Very
Blade
honest.
Tech, that's that Dean Franco guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dean
so yeah,
Franco,
much
who's
respect
Dean
for
Franco?
yeah. Much respect for yeah, Coach Danny. Leading by example, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So all right, um so yeah, we got the kind of genetic makeup of your system. So would you?
Sure.
I mean, you kind of touched upon it. Depending on who walks in the door is whether you'll put them more towards a functional lane. If they say, "Hey, look, I just want to kill time. I don't really care about, if I had, God forbid, defend myself. I would just like to keep moving around, lose a few pounds,
Mm,
whatever."
yeah.
Or is that kind of when to come in the door? Does that kind of works with you?
Yeah, more or less. More or less. I mean, if anything, like let's say I'll give you an example. Like so, they because most of my business is referrals, word of mouth. I don't really put stuff out there. So
Oh my God. It's just never Renee. It's just
what's our buddy Renee
are
saying?
you familiar with Growling Dog Renee?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I watch the Marshall meh. I mean regularly. So
A charming feller.
each send down text during this. Join the club, Renee. Join the club.
Keep going.
There you go. Another one I'd love to meet.
Oh, never a dull moment.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Even the most basic ride to a store.
Yeah. Renee, if you're ever in Atlanta, yeah,
Very
but
color,
to
very,
answer,
very,
answer your question, yeah, I mean,
very colorful.
yeah, I basically, it's basically, who, and like, what their background is if they have one, and what their goals are, and well, one of the things I ask is, here's one I ask is, because I don't want to assume anything, is that I always ask them if there's anything that will hinder their training, whether it's medical or health for any kind of health reason. Because I don't want to assume that. Let's say, like, yeah, if they're injured, I don't want to like have them
Yeah,
train.
right. Then you start to do a double leg, and
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like normally, yeah, if it's out there, sure, we go for the weakness, right? But in training, no. I mean, we don't make that a weakness a strength, right? So, but that's the biggest thing.
no.
And then once we because there's most people find it in what we do interesting, but then you have interested, but then who's invested, who's actually ready to learn, ready to train, and of course ready to pay, right? So most find what we do interesting. Then you have the ones that actually commit, and then they're interested, but then they train and pay up. So yeah, those are the invested ones, and regardless of what their goal is, I just tell them, like, you know what? I mean, this is both our times. I won't waste yours, and don't waste mine.
Yeah, I'm really like that's the beauty, and I have empathy, and what I mean by empathy for guys
Mm-hmm.
like you who do this for a living,
Thank you.
I just do because like when I had the school, I mean, and what I love about today is like I can take you or I don't have to take you.
Yeah,
Like I can teach who I want when I want, and I feel very fortunate and lucky. But I do feel for folks that like you that do this full time, and
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm for it. Like, see, like people ask me, where my school is. I say, well, It's where you want me to meet you. Whether you want me to meet here, because I have a little studio here, or sometimes it's in their workplace or in their home. So I mean, I just whatever best suits them.
yeah,
But
and you're in the state
doing
with
this,
whether
yeah,
it's
Yeah,
Friendly
and
too.
I've been fortunate. I've been my own boss for 10 years now, and I must be doing something well, not necessarily
There you
right.
go. Yeah, yeah. If you're
Just
still, if
oh,
you survived 10 years and you made it through COVID, yeah, I would say you're doing something
yeah.
well.
Well, that's it's interesting you mentioned COVID. So, of
Mm.
course, everybody had to go to lockdown in COVID, and I remember my mom asking me, "Well, how you gonna survive and endure during COVID because nobody can teach?" Well, we're doing it right now. I was fortunate that I started the online training early on back in 2011, and it started with something called. Do you remember something called Skype?
That's where how me and Lloyd used to do
Yeah. Okay.
it.
So one of my students who you've met, Ian, who lives in Mission Viejo. So we met at Vunac's Bruce Lee Bachelor Beach in 2011. He didn't realize that I lived in Atlanta, and I had partnered up with him because he just couldn't find anybody that can really help him and be a good training partner. So he just shot me and said, "Hey, you know what you're doing."
Mm.
And after that, he wanted to stay connected. And I said, "Well, this is going to be a long distance." And one tool, again, going back to Vunac, there was this video he had called the Interactive Rat, and that was the genesis of my online training. Thinking about how he was basically having you spar him long distance, I said, "Well, I can take all the same drills, and it's like like a virtual video game. You're
Mm.
just not touching." And that started in 2011. So when the
Interesting.
lockdown
I
hit,
was
yeah. So when
not
the
aware of
lockdown
that.
hit in 2020, all
Huh.
my students just transferred to the virtual, and that's so I was already doing it like way back when. And I still have some students that, including Ian, that still train virtually to this day. And then when we meet in person, they do very well. So
Teaching on the side. I'm sorry, Renee. Just let me know the question on that. I'm
right,
sorry.
yeah,
What this is? Wait a minute. This is just blasphemous right here. I'm not sure what this guy is
who's
doing
it?
here. Hello
Who's it?
from the best pizza. It's Connecticut. Go on YouTube. Look up Connecticut pizza. We'll just end this argument right here. This guy. I just noticed. I have never seen Dean Franco with longer hair. It's never. It's never changed.
Is Renee just jealous because you have more hair than him?
No, he just Renee will just find the most interesting things, or just yeah, he's just
Has he tried
observant.
being a stand-up comedian? I think he'd do well.
He can always have a backup career for that, huh?
There you go. Don't quit your day job.
I'm telling you, he is just my God, man,
Yeah.
wired for
Yeah.
sound.
Well, because speaking of, just kind of leading into, as you mentioned COVID. So one of the things that I did and what inspired, part of what inspired the event that's about to happen. So this is a shirt that actually I had done
And what's
during
that? Okay,
Defang COVID. Yeah. It's a shirt that I had made during the
defang
lockdown.
COVID or cancer? I'm sorry,
Defang COVID at the time.
because his orientation is a sideways homeboy. Oh my God, no, 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 no. Oh, yeah, we can go into that. So, okay, what was the inspiration for you to come up with the Fang cancer?
So anybody that does FMA is familiar with the concept of defang the snake, meaning, hey, I mean, you hit the closest target with the longest weapon, or in this case, the hand, right? So I don't think I'm saying anything new, but that's what inspired the
I think we
defang
should ask
part.
Renee though. He might not know.
Yeah, Renee, any thoughts?
Renee defangs the head.
The camera is on the side, so we still sideways.
Huh? No, I
Am
mean
I
no.
sideways or is it still?
You're seeing me vertical, right? Still,
Okay, yeah. So hold on.
you're sideways.
Yeah, they say I'm sideways. So
How are
let's.
you sideways?
There you go. All right. Try. Is it better now? There's like a couple of second delay. Let's see. Okay.
Doesn't make sense. Like
All
I'm
right.
looking right now, I can see your back flags. I can see the window. You're vertical as far
Yeah.
as,
Okay. Is it
but
better
they're
now?
saying you're sideways.
Okay.
How? I mean, how is that even remotely possible?
Okay. Well, I think we're good now. Yeah, we're good now. Okay. Thank you. Thanks to the wife.
You're welcome.
Ah, my God, that I tell you, there's a first for everything. I've never ever
No worries. Yeah,
experienced that.
I think when we do this again, I think we should do a test run. But it was fun.
Yeah, that's on. You know what it is I just I generally do. I just figured, with you just being kind of internet savvy, all with teaching and all that, I figured
Yeah.
it wouldn't be an issue. But yeah, much to your point, it's something we could have should have done. Yeah.
No worries. No worries. Okay.
Um,
Renee, are we good now?
yeah, Danny's saying we're good. It's funny. I didn't even I wanted that whole time because I'm telling you, you were straight up. As far as I'm good, like you were never sideways set.
I'm a pretty straight up guy, man.
That's right here. Renee's not. No,
Good.
um,
Thanks, Renee. And thanks to
so
the
yeah,
wife. Thanks to
all
my wife.
screens are good. Thank you, GM Ray Floro. Wait, he needs to let me know if he's coming back on here, GM Ray. Okay, good, good, good. I used to. Okay, here we go. I used to have my snake defanged every weekend. Oh Jesus.
I think we need to do a disclaimer right now.
Oh my God, he's
The
just
views
too much.
expressed on this interview.
I know he's so okay. So yeah, back to so inspiration. What was the your inspiration from coming up with this? Which made
So
your license?
aside from the Defang cancer concept, so the the real inspiration for this was my mom. So she was diagnosed the first time in 1996 with breast cancer, and she was cancer free till about last year, and she was diagnosed again. And alongside that, one of my students was diagnosed with throat cancer, and he's made it through. And
Oh, thank God.
yeah, and then more and more people that I knew and others that I knew were stricken with cancer. I said, you know what? I think it's time to do something. I've always been wanting to do something to help, fight this battle. I mean, we can't cure it for them. We can't take it for them. So I said, what can we do? And when I attended the FMA block party, compliments of Steve DiCastillo of Bunal Brand, he let me teach a portion or segment at FMA Block Party and said, hey, why don't we use this to promote your event? I said, what event? He said, well, why don't you want to do a cancer event? I said, yeah. And I said, okay. And that's what really inspired it. And I said, yeah, let's do it. In fact, and what he told me was this. He said, don't think of it just as an event. He said, think of it as a movement because he said, trust me. He said, more people are going to want to do something like this because who hasn't been struck
Or know
indirectly or directly
somebody.
by cancer.
Yeah.
I'm sure even in your neck, yeah,
Uh
even
oh,
your
you're sideways to me now.
okay. Is my sideways to
Let's
everybody
see what
else?
the audience says.
Uh,
Anyone?
yeah, apologies, folks.
Somebody will say something soon. But you're sideways to me. But you could be okay then. And that's the case, we'll just leave it.
Yeah, we'll leave it as this. It's
But
fine.
here, a couple comments. So Francisco has some stuff from Nick Papadakis for you.
Oh well, thank you. Yes,
Yeah, Nick
I
is
finally met Guru Nick at the Legends
so
trip a
yeah,
couple
you're
weeks ago.
sideways. You're sideways.
Am I still sideways?
Yeah, you're sideways.
Okay. Jeez Louise. Okay, doesn't help. All right, does that
Okay,
help?
so you should be good now. I'm assuming you should be good.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough, but you should be
Okay.
good now.
All
Oh,
right.
here's another thing. Renee's saying, are you part of Renee's Toro group, Toro clan?
No.
All right, he'll probably invite you if you want. You could put. He's saying here you could put your stuff on there.
Okay,
As well.
great. That's same Renee we're talking about.
That's the same
The only
crazy
one.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, one and only.
Okay, great.
Okay, so hello, we got Richard Pack from Kansas. Hey,
Okay, yeah.
don't touch any of this.
Ray Floor saying don't touch anything. So okay, we
uh,
won't.
GM Ray Flow, don't touch anything.
Okay, all right, cool.
All right, so you um obviously mother inspiration friend. You did you taught a little bit at this barbecue. I mean, I'm sorry, not
The
the
FMA block party, yes.
block party.
Mm-hmm.
And so that okay, so now, but so up to this point, you haven't actually have you this is going to be the first one, correct? That you're
This
kind of
will be the inaugural one. Yes. Yes.
okay. May I ask, like, how come not? I mean, you might have plans for this, but doing something local first?
It was a thought, but I think a lot of it was just coincidental that since Steve has these barbecue events over
Oh yeah,
there.
you got some momentum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
I mean,
got you. That
he's
makes
already
sense.
established there, and since I go there regularly, and the support is there, obviously. So I said, let's start there. In fact, the first one will be here, and we already have plans to do one in Orlando next year, which we
I don't I wouldn't rule
which we'd
out
love
your
for you to
own
be a part
Atlanta.
of, Dean.
I wouldn't rule out Atlanta.
We're not going to rule it out. Yeah, I mean, it's still in the works, but yeah, I think maybe the third one will.
Maybe if you
So
get a couple on your belt
yeah,
and all that, but I mean, I would do whatever I can. I would even fly down my own dime if you did one in Atlanta.
okay.
I mean, I would
Yeah,
test
yeah,
the water. I mean, it's your own hometown. You don't have to travel anywhere. I mean, I would test the waters there.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely in the plans, but yeah, but California was convenient. I
I
mean,
got you.
initially, and in fact, one of the things that yeah, so Steve Dean, running Bunal, so he's made these
Oh, wow, look
exclusive
at that.
padded knives
It was nice of him.
for the event, and he has sticks that are
Yeah, I like his
going to be
stuff,
made
man.
soon.
He makes good
Yeah.
quality stuff. I mean, Steve, yeah, and that was obviously very nice of him to donate to you.
No, I owe a lot to Steve. I mean, like I originally I wasn't gonna do this till next year anyway. But he said, hey, no, why wait? I mean, there was a open window,
Mm.
and he said, why not? I mean, because if I wait, who knows what can happen. But
How many
we
how many folks you got signed up coming?
it's in a process. I mean, it tends to they tend to sign up like the
I
week
know
before.
everybody waits the last minute. I know, but here it is, folks. So this is taking place this next weekend, correct?
Yes, next Sunday on the 16th. Correct.
On Sunday the 16th.
Hmm.
There's a flyer. I know it's small, but do you want to give the generic information like
Sure.
location?
Yes. So it's going to be at Verdugo Park in Glendale. It's outside of LA, and also we have some giveaways from some of my sponsors. So in
No,
fact,
you get
anybody, as
I
you know,
can't believe
Dean,
the
I
stuff
mean,
that you
I
get
have
from
I have
these
some good
people.
sponsors. So AccuStrike, who makes the Mimic light up knife, so they're actually donating one. Okay. FMA Supply, another longtime supporter of mine, is donating this beautiful
Look at that.
Kamagung blade. Whoops.
I'm
There
sorry,
you
who
go.
was that? I'm sorry, who was doing that?
FMA Supply, Michael Ruby from FMA
That's very
Supply.
nice
I
of
mean,
him.
a really great guy. And also Tack Knife, who's also giving me
They're
stuff.
God,
So
they've always been so good to you, huh?
yeah, always generous. I mean, really great guys. And then Demko Knives. For
I
those of
know.
you who don't know
You always
Andrew
get
Demko,
those
he
guys
used to
donating to you
yeah
too.
yeah he used to design all the Cold Steel blades.
Oh my
So
God, I hope Renee's not joking, but he's saying you're upside down now.
again,
No, he's saying you're upside down now, which I
I'm
think.
upside down. Oh
No,
my.
I'm hoping he's just joking.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll find out. If anybody
All
else,
right. Okay.
he's known to. All right, we'll keep
Okay.
going,
Hold on. I
folks.
think I hear the web. So, but and then this is from Demko now. So this is actually a fixed knife here. Let's see if I
I
can
have
find it.
one of those.
Yes.
Those are freaking. I know, man.
Yeah.
That's very nice of them. Like those things are, man, just what they're giving you.
Oh yeah, yeah, and again, these will be raffled off, and again, all the proceeds for the event will be going to
Such
an
a good
organization
cause.
called Family Reach,
And here's the thing:
and
they're gonna donate, and they could win something. You know what I mean?
exactly that's it. I mean, here's the biggest thing. One of the other, um, one of my other motivations for this, or when I dress, because you have a lot of people come on here, and again, I mean, I respect everybody, but I wanted to do talk about something that really is meaningful and also very pertinent. But I mean, we're more likely to fight disease than we are fighting each other. And rather than fighting each other, all this infighting, you know what? Why don't we all get together and fight for this, for a solution for something like this.
Imagine that, huh? Jeez.
If we, I think if we more of us did that, there, we wouldn't have all the other stuff.
Well, you know
But
what though, Arnold? Sometimes it just takes somebody like you to do something like that. I mean, and before you know, I mean, sometimes it just takes somebody to set the tone and just
yeah,
started, and
right. Well, I know Guru Nick has the beat the crap out of cancer going on
which is the
today.
same
Right,
weekend,
same
right?
thing. But I'm just doing my part, and again, I'm just one of many that would like to. And for those that are wanting to do something, if this inspires somebody to do something similar. In fact, so a mutual friend of ours, I think is who is it in Idaho, is wanting to do something. I think it's a Stephen Bramall. Yeah. So
Oh,
I mean,
oh
yeah,
my God, Steven. Yeah, Steven's.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
he
he
trains with
wants
me.
he
He's in
wants to he wants to
WPM.
talk to me about doing something similar in
Yeah,
his neck
good
of the
guy.
woods. And so again, it's become this movement, and it's starting to, again. I mean, the ball's in motion. So anybody that would like to do something like this, hey, you know what? I mean, however we can help or work together, I'm open.
Here's the ultimate prize, Arnold. And but I'm going to get back to you about Steven.
Sure.
Renee would like to donate an autographed photo of Dean Franco from my basement. That is so generous of Renee.
Okay. I'll bid first, Renee. $1 million.
So the photo he's talking about, he has an old fencing mask. It's not, when I say like it's paper,
Mm-hmm.
I mean like tinfoil.
Mm-hmm.
So he had me put on, and unbeknown, he took a picture of me. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming that's the photograph. But anyway, but Steve Rommel, he'll
Mm-hmm.
get behind it. He's really supportive of stuff like this.
Yeah,
Really,
I know he just lost. I think his one of his instructors just passed away
it
a
just
day or two
he went
ago.
down to
So,
Texas. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but see, and this is exactly why we're doing events like this, and again, not just for awareness, but hey, you know what? I mean, things like this, should bring everybody together, and again, let's come together, and it's
Yeah,
fighting the bigger fight. Like I said, we're more likely to
I
fight things like
know, I
cancer or
know. I've
illness.
been
I
at it
mean,
for six
yeah,
years, Arnold.
yeah.
And during COVID, there was some really good work with everybody. I really saw some congruency. I saw some collaborative efforts and all that. COVID
Mm,
ended, and it kind of
yeah.
just went slowly, But hopefully, maybe it'll take a new voice, and I'll do whatever I can to help. I plan on
Yeah, in fact, to your point, yeah. So I know not everybody can be there physically, but if for those that would like to donate to the cause, we do have a general link. Just DM me, and I'll be more than happy to share it with you. And again, this all going to Family Reach, and what they do is beyond treatment, they provide daily essentials like transportation, food, you name it, to families that are going through cancer treatment.
doing a great thing, and I hope it just picks up. And again, if you do one in Georgia, I would be I'd come down. I wouldn't rule that out though. I know you're talking about Orlando and all that. I just think
Mm-hmm.
it's if you can get something going there, and man, lighten your hometown. I
Yeah,
just
well,
think that
it's definitely in the works, and and like I said, we definitely would love to have you involved. And again, that's the other thing, that we're not only going to have the sparring going on at the event and the raffles, but we have three instructors that will be presenting. We have Dr. Mark Cheng, who
okay.
will be presenting a healing portion. Something a little different from the typical combative aspect of training. And then we have two other instructors. In fact, what is their name? We have one that is representing the Campo, and then we have one that is representing Attila Balintawak.
Who's doing
Their
the
names
combo?
escape me, but hold on, if you give me a second, I can tell you. It is Guru Jason Adajay from the Campo,
Oh, okay.
and then we have Guru Alfredo Parino from who was a direct student of GM Attilo.
who's also out in that area too, California, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's the great thing. The great thing about what Steve does with these events is when he chooses these instructors. I mean, he tries to choose different ones to um, not only to they're always different ones. Yeah,
Mm.
to promote everybody. And like I said, I was blessed that he let me teach at the FMA block party. And when I taught there, I mean, you had Mark Makita out there, you had someone from KI out there. I was like, I said, how do you follow that? But you know what? Um, it was just an honor just to be able to teach us something like this. And then now it's led to
Yeah, for
this
sure.
event. So you know what? I mean, everything happens for a reason. And I'm glad that I'm finally able to do this and it's become a reality. It's been a 20 plus year goal of mine, and now it's happening. And
Now you're
again,
making it happen.
it's movement. So again, I think everybody that that's listening, but also anybody that wants to do something similar. Again, we're here for as a resource,
Here's
and
the photo.
yeah, there you
I
go.
mean, guys, you will get that autograph. Renee will ship them to you. Okay. Renee will, but he will basically, Renee will forge my signature and
There you
then
go.
he will basically mail them to you.
There you go.
That's,
Yeah. But no, and again, I mean, always thanks to you, Gurudeen, not only for your guidance, but just also for your support of me since day one. And I also say that to all my instructors and mentors. But I gotta give kudos to a couple. My mom obviously for inspiring this because she has fought this for 20 plus years, and she's still fighting it. And I really couldn't do any of this without the support of my incredible wife. She's been supportive of everything I do. You've met her. I mean,
that's awesome. Awesome.
So in fact, she'll be accompanying me to the event. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
she'll be, she'll see, just how crazy this event is. So
Well, we hope it's going to go well. If if you don't get the numbers you want, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't. Sir, obviously, don't give up. I mean, the one in Orlando. I might, you know what? If you do one, when you talking about the one in Orlando,
it'll probably be around springtime.
I might even let me know. I might even go to that one. If
Yeah.
it's
Oh
a
yeah,
good cause.
for sure. Yeah. In fact, we do
Generally
have.
speaking,
Yeah,
Orlando
we
fights are
actually,
not too bad.
I do have to also mention Jesse Speedy, who's he's a fellow FMA um, friend of mine in Orlando.
Okay.
He actually had shirts that hopefully will come in before we leave that were donated by Mercedes Benz of Orlando.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I mean kudos to him. Again, just the support I've gotten for this, and to your point as far as numbers, you know what? Just even general donations. I mean, you know, more than that I was even like expecting. I really had no expectation, but you know what? I mean, I just wanted to make this happen, and you know what? Come the day of, I'm sure it'll be
Yeah,
more.
when you get closer, everybody likes to wait to the last minute. I'm definitely, yeah, I mean, I think it's a great cause, but yeah, keep me posted. Oh, we'll be in touch, obviously, but
Of course.
the one in Orlando, I mean, generally speaking, flights on there are not too bad.
No, no. I mean, just from here, it's like I don't know, like a 6 or 8 hour drive, so it's not bad for
Yeah,
us.
yeah, for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, respect. Oh, we got, but yeah, I hope it goes well. Future goals for yourself. Like, what are your future goals? Could be anything.
I just turned 51 last month. I don't look at, but a lot of it for me is just I mean, a lot of it is maintaining and to continue doing what I love. Like I wake up every day, and as long as I do, uh, God has something meant for me,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I like to. I don't really promote what I do as martial arts. I like to call it martial wellness. And they're like, "What's martial wellness?" Well, yeah, we're using the arts, but at the end of the day, I feel that everybody kind of wants the same thing. They want peace of mind, and how do you get peace of mind when you feel healthy and safe? So I think the martial arts training also definitely does that. And also as a certified nutrition coach, I mean that that brings the balance. So really promoting the really more of the wellness side of what we do.
That's great that you
Not just
combine
physically, but
that.
also
I
mentally
mean,
and spiritually, of course.
yeah, yeah. I think that's a good combo that you also do the nutritional aspect of it as well as the martial arts. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, you know, it all matters. And if you miss one, everything else is affected.
I'm
So
telling you, you can go
yeah,
train and do as many hours, but then you're coming home and you're eating like crap. You know what I mean?
right,
So,
right, yeah. But no, I mean, I just want to continue growing not only as not just as a teacher, but as a person, of course. But I really want to see my students grow. And what what one of my balance walk instructors gave me a really good compliment, and he said, "Or I noticed that you in your videos, you showcase your students, and that shows just how." I
mm,
mean, how you really want the best for your students. I said, of course, because if I'm the only one that can do this, then what's the point of teaching? What's the point of sharing?
yeah.
And that's just it. And I just had three of my students test with me. In fact, the week of my birthday, and they did very very well. A combination of technical skill, but also a lot of sparring.
Oh,
And one
good.
of them was the one that survived. That just dealt with
Oh, he
throwing cancer.
survived. Oh, good. Oh,
Yeah, and
fantastic.
yeah, and you know what? And he's one of the ones that we're dedicating this event to. And he's alive. He's good. He's in remission. And he told me personally, and he wanted me to let people know it. He said if it wasn't for my efforts with training him, he probably wouldn't be able to deal with it the way he has. And that to me, there's
Yeah,
no there's no
right.
there's no there's no reward for that.
Best compliment ever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I'm just grateful. I'm
No, that's
grateful to
no.
everything. So
Renee loves martial law. He just wanted you to know that. So, but folks, if you're in the California area, there's the flyer. If you have questions, please directly message Arnold. He'll give you all the information you need. Whether you just want to donate, maybe you can't make it
yeah,
out there. That's fine, right? You
yes,
can still make a
absolutely.
donation, though, right?
Yeah,
I
and
can't make it
again,
out
I
there.
mean,
I'm
yeah,
gonna make a
and
donation.
right, and again, this is for anybody out there that that's been affected directly or indirectly. Events like this are for them, and again, this is for anybody that's been stricken with cancer. So let's just keep fighting this thing and not each other.
Yeah, God, I know, huh? Gosh, donate to Arnold. Awesome, awesome. Um, any closing thoughts to the folks that are watching?
Do and be well every day. It's the best you can do.
Nothing wrong with that. Keep it short and sweet, right?
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Well, we finally got you on, which is very nice. And what a,
Again, we
you
thank
know,
you, and apologies for the technical difficulties earlier.
oh
If
my
not,
God, we made it through. No worries. Not the first time. Won't be the last time either. I guarantee you. So
of
yeah,
course, yeah. I mean, definitely. Yeah. I mean, definitely. Have more to share, and even like post event.
yeah. Um, well, we'll be in touch.
Yes.
And all that. But yeah, I hope it goes well. And again, folks, again, even if you can't make it, you can still donate and all that. And who knows, you might win something. You know.
Yes. Like I said, yeah. And yeah, we will. Like I said, we will have shirts as well. So once we get them, if anybody would like one, just DM me and we'll let me know where we can send it
So,
to.
so what do you do? You're putting names in a hat, pulling them out. Kind of is that
Pretty
kind
much.
of the idea?
Pretty much. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
it
It's
is.
easy,
Kind
right?
of like what we did at your events. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. It's
Yeah.
that's
Well,
very
yeah.
good.
We'll even put your name in. You never
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I think Renee would like his name put in, so if you can just
And no,
yeah.
just kidding.
Awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on. It's great, great cause, but we'll be in touch. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking at Orlando. Yeah,
Well, again,
you should
thank you.
still definitely do one in Atlanta. I think you should do one in Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it'll be probably the third one after
Yeah,
Orlando.
if you could coordinate, 3 or 4 a year, like geographically throughout the states, man, I think that could be really be something.
Yeah, yeah. But again, thanks for having us on and being able to share about the event
Anytime.
and again just for your guidance and your support always. I mean,
Oh my God.
uh,
And happy to do it. Pleasure. I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate what you're doing. I think it's a great cause. And hopefully folks will get behind this. And anytime that you got one of these coming up, we'll definitely bring you back on. I mean, this is
All right.
stuff I really like. So yeah.
So yeah. So let's defang cancer, guys.
All right, Arnold, you take care. Say
All
hi to
right.
Gloria.
All right. Thanks, Gary Dean. Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
bye.
Bye.
Again, folks, here, if you can't make it, you certainly can donate right here. If you got questions, just contact Arnold. He'll give you all the information you need. Also, you could, just saying, you could win that. Renee's going to sign it and send it off to you. Just saying. But anyway, who's next? I honestly don't know. Oh, Brian Marr. I got to talk to him, seeing he's coming on. I got to talk to Renee about Marsha Matt. I'm not sure who's coming on next Wednesday, but it could be Brian. So, as always, though, it will be pinned and feature and FMA discussion where you'll see it. But those who jumped in for this great episode with a great cause, appreciate it. Thank you. And as always, this will be downloaded and put in the FMA discussion group. All right, folks. See you till next time.